Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis, updated commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, commodities, ETFs that I follow. I'm going to interject my financial opinions as we go. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into this material and into individual companies and sectors. And we've got a question and answer session coming up on Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And we still have a coupon code called Mayday. One word, Mayday for the coupon code. Let's dive in. Let's see what's going on. We're going to start with the dollar here. We had a down day in the dollar, but we did get a bounce towards the middle end of the day. If we were to go into the daily candlesticks, you can see we gapped down in the morning, came back up throughout the day. So if we were to kind of look at this as a big picture view from a medium term time frame, we have a broken downtrend line that was broken here. We popped on up, we consolidated for a little bit, dived down, and today we've got that kind of hammer candlestick where we could reverse higher. That is a possibility. I don't know, a lot of people who think that we're going to get these recessions and that generally will see weakness in the dollar. We've broken to the wrong side of this. If we're going to get a recession, maybe it's still out in the future. Maybe we work our way on up like this, create a Batman pattern for something like that, and it occurs a year or two or three from now. Um, Obviously, I'm guessing there, and I don't know with any sort of certainty that that will occur, but we are sitting on top of a trend line, and we do have a reversal candlestick where we could go higher. Let's look at yields. Let's see what yields are doing because that also is an indication of where the dollar can go. So the 2-year yield, we sold off quite hard today. So if we look at the daily, this is the daily candlesticks. We'll put into a line chart so you guys can see it. You can see where we just gapped lower, almost like someone's trying to push bond yields lower purposefully for whatever reason. I don't know what that is. So it gapped lower. We came back up throughout the day, and that is generally a bullish sign that we are working our way on up. We've got upside momentum, and we can even throw, trend lines and stuff. But this is such a short-term time frame. But we're in the pattern, and we haven't broken out of that pattern yet. We got support where we needed it, and we are still within the pattern. This is a rising wedge that generally likes to break to the downside. And generally, yields and the dollar kind of flow together. Same with oil. So a lot of this is dependent on those three things kind of moving in harmony together. But we're at support right now for the US 2-year. We've got the 10-year yield that sold off today. They all sold off. They gapped down in the morning, kind of came up. We were down 1.77 on the 10-year. That's what it looks like at this current time. We're within the pattern. And then the 30-year also fell 1.4%, and we're still within this pattern. We've got support underneath us for all of these different timeframes. So I'm not bearish yet. We got to start busting through these support levels for me to turn bearish. And I think that's going to take a lot for me to turn bearish on yields on the short term and definitely the medium term. TYX TNX ratio, we uninverted a little bit, not really a ton, but and the only reason I look at this is because when this goes up like that, that is when gold and silver do very well. Problem is, we don't know the exact moment that it's going to break, and we are inverted for quite a long period of time. Bond price is up a little bit, about 1%. Not a convincing candlestick, though, which makes it a little bit weird because what they did is they gapped it up in the morning. This is what it looks like on the daily. They gapped it up in the morning, and then it just kind of slowly went sideways. So looking at this, we're still in this downtrend. It hasn't reversed yet. It very well could. It was not a convincing candlestick today. I need to see some follow through here if we are going to turn and go higher. So I'm going to remain neutral at this time. And then the 2 and 10 year, we got a slight inversion of the yield curve, although yields fell. And that is the short end of the curve fell less than the long end, the 10 year. And that's kind of what it looks like on the longer term. We've just been inverted here, and we're staying inverted at this current time. Gold should like a weaker dollar and the yield curve, or the yields dropping, but the yield curve didn't uninvert. So we stayed inverted. So gold basically shrugged it off and said, basically a flat day today. And we're still kind of humping through this trend flag pattern, I'll call it. I still think we're going higher though. And the reason I think we're going higher is because the yield curve is, inverted and will probably uninvert at some point. Silver also just tracking sideways. I do think that this will go higher though. Yield curve inversion, it will uninvert. We'll probably bottom somewhere in this general circle and work our way on higher. That is what my best guess based off of the technicals looks like. Could we get down to, upper 25s? Very well could. Platinum right underneath resistance, and this is a big boy to watch here. We're looking for a break, and that could be a fun ride if we can get this break higher. And then palladium also up about 1%, a little over 1%, and it does look like it's trying to bottom in that box there. I do think we're going to bottom out here soon. Somewhere in this general location where that box is, from about 870 up to about 960 where we're at. XAU to gold ratio, it's holding on. The gold and silver mining companies, we're holding on. And I think it looks good for a potential break. It's waiting for the right market conditions to come. And those market conditions is an uninversion of the yield curve, lower yields, and eventually what they'll probably do is a little bit of stimulus. And we'll break through that downtrend line and we'll start heading on higher. It's going to be a great play for gold and silver mining companies because nobody believes them anymore. It's probably one of the worst sectors for sentiment. We got the CRB index working up a little bit today. Had a pretty big sell-off the past week or so. Nice little bullish engulfing. We'll see what the follow-through looks like. If it doesn't follow through, we get these little candlesticks, generally roll over the flag pattern. So we'll see what it looks like. Let's wait. We need more data. CRB index to S&P 500 down a little bit today, down 0.6%. And we are still consolidating inside the pattern. GDX right at resistance. And we're right underneath that resistance level. We've been, kind of hanging out, chilling, packing our bags, hopefully, to get on this trip to the upside. So right at resistance, hopefully we can break here soon. GDX has already broken out. That's positive. And we've been also packing our bags here, hopefully, getting some rest on this flag pattern that's ready to break to the upside. It looks good. And SILJ is also doing the same thing. Just flagging out, ready to break, wants to go. It's got to pack its bags. It's just chilling right now. We do have a little bit of contraction here. We could get a little bit of a pullback in the short term. Definitely still possible, guys. Definitely still possible if it wants to. Crude oil down 1%. This is what is calculated as fair value given our inventory levels, about 78 bucks. So we came back. This was the flag pattern that came on down. We got to base out here and turn this thing around. It's going to take a little bit of time. I saw some positioning in XOP and OIH. So maybe some of the investors are getting on it already. But I think we'll get some support fairly soon, I think in the 78-ish dollar area. TTF down a little bit after a monster day yesterday, but still looks good to go higher. It's just a bloody nose. We've got natural gas in America up 5.5%, looking good. Nice big bullish engulfings here and here, so that did foreshadow a move higher. We'll see how sustaining this is. We'll see what it looks like. I'm already positioned in this stuff. I'm just waiting. And if natural gas wants to go now into the summer, so be it. We have pulled back on production, and our inventory levels will we'll have less additions than what we would have had. I'll just put it that way. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, right at support. We are gaining or getting that support. On the monthly, it doesn't look too bad. It looks like we could still go on up, but crude oil's gotta, we gotta get some deficits in crude oil. We still have a lot of selling pressure here, and it makes me think that we got to work it off. Make sure that we don't have further downside to loop back around or something like that. So we'll probably try to get a base here right at support. OIH up 1%. Again, I don't like seeing these small green candlesticks next to the large red candlesticks. Those are generally continuation patterns, and maybe we come back down here to the low 300s potentially. But that's what I see there in OIH. Longer term, though, huge bull longer term on OIH. So you can be both bearish and bullish on the same ETF or stock given different time frames. Sprott Uranium Trust, we were down a teeny bit today. Doesn't look too bad, though. Still looks good. That's a bloody nose. Generally, just a small profit-taking day, back to support. A little bit getting your retest on. And hopefully we can work our way on higher here with the Sprott Uranium Trust. Doesn't look too bad. We've got URA up a little bit. It's coming up to some resistance. Hitting the resistance. We've got URNM also chilling on top of support. We all like that. There it is. And these aren't, huge resistance candlesticks there, but it looks like we came on up, got a little bit of selling pressure there, and then we're just tracking our way on up. I'd like to see the green candlesticks get larger here, stretch their legs a little bit. URNJ is stretching its legs a little bit. It's right turtle heading out of this. I'm not calling this a clear break yet. We could still come in here and loop back around, but it looks good, and I'm sure you guys are feeling a little bit better versus 2466 that was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days ago, and we're up here at almost $28 a share. But we got to break out of here. It does look like it's squeezing up, and we might have one last hooray down if it does. And you should be praying for that if you're an investor, because then you can buy more if it does come on back. Weaker dollar, weaker yields are going to impact a lot of these things that we're looking at next. So 10 is up 3.4% today. Is that a retest? And are yields going to rip it again? That is what I don't know and what I am trying to gain some insight on. So this might just be a retest that we head lower again with solar. I know their input costs are going up. Copper still looking all right. Momentum's to the upside. We've got a little bit of selling pressure here and here, both bearish engulfings, which are putting downside pressure on it. Short-term downside pressure, long-term, or I should say medium-term, upside momentum. Who's going to win here? Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. COPX up 2%. Feeling pretty good there. Looking good. But this is, whenever we get these large kind of breakout moves, expect some consolidation or pullback eventually. They don't go straight up. This is a pretty big move here, and then you get your big consolidation that came after it. So we do have a break, and it could very well run further because we did consolidate for quite a bit before this. Lithium, broken. It's to the upside, but I'm still not convinced. I mean, we had all the right market conditions for this to rip, and it only went up 0.8%. We'll see. I'll stay open, but if we do get yields coming on back, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go higher. If the market crashes, yields can go down with a market crash. I know we're in an election year, so that may not occur. REMX also kind of doing that retest move and not a really strong, convincing move to the upside. We'll see what this looks like over the next week or so. S&P 500 also up, likes the weaker yields, but there's a barrage of selling pressure before this. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not convinced yet. Is this just a flag pattern that will eventually work its way lower? Yields will have its hand in this, and the dollar. So we need more data there. And then NASDAQ also up, but it gapped up. almost like somebody pushed all this stuff around and they pushed yields around. We've got a rollover here, guys. And is this going to reverse and come back up? If it is, I would just say it looks very unnatural from a charting perspective. KRE, liking the lower yields in dollar, up a little bit today, 1.3%. Emerging markets also likes it. I think emerging markets looks really good here. It's going to love the lower yields, lower dollar whenever that does come. I'm not saying that it's going to be necessarily right this second, but this chart does suggest that it could be. And people are positioning in emerging markets, much like I have already done. XHB, looking a little bit weird here. We're up today. Yes, it likes the lower yields and whatever. Whenever you get these candlesticks, guys, like this, I'm not convinced. I think this is going to probably go lower and work its way on down. Which is weird because emerging markets is breaking on up. But this candlestick, it's not a confidence inspiring candlestick there. That generally is a reversal candlestick to go lower. Moo up a little bit. But again, we're right at support, basing out. We've got iron ore up a little bit today. I do think this is going to go higher. This one looks pretty good. We're going on up. Bullish engulfing a couple days ago. Shoulder, head, shoulder. I think iron ore looks really good. I think we're going to work our way on up eventually. Looks good. We've got nickel down a little bit today, but again, this looks fantastic, guys. We're going up. It's going to work its way on up. Even if we get a small little pullback, fill the gap, we'll work our way on. Aluminum also working its way up today a little bit. Still looks a little bit weak though. Got these big red candlesticks. Generally, get some follow through there on the red candlesticks. Maybe fill a gap or two. Baltic Dry Index up a little bit. This does look good. It looks like it's trying to bottom, work its way on up. We've got Newcastle coal, which also, iron ore and coal are a driver of Baltic Dry Index. So that's why I think the Baltic's going to probably go up. It's because these are going up. But Newcastle coal futures down a little bit today, but I think we're going higher, guys. I think we're going higher or sideways at worst, basing to moving on up. Bitcoin ripping it a little bit today, up 6.8% back within the pattern. That could have been a false breakout. Very well could. Maybe the money printers are going to be coming. M2 money supply going on up and all that. Maybe. And then Ethereum's up 4%. We did see support here with all those wicks on the bottom, and we're using that today. SMCI up a little bit, but this is just, it looks horrible right there. So we'll see. I'm still in the camp that this could go lower in the short term. And NVIDIA, I've been looking at that one too. Up a little bit, up 3.5%. They need those yields to come back down, kind of breaking out a little bit here of some trend line, and we'll see what sustaining move this thing can have. Could this be some? It doesn't look that great. We'll see. That's what I'll say. But that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. We've got a question and answer session coming up at 5 p.m. Sunday. And we'll go over all this stuff. I don't know if we're going to hit up a couple of companies, do some maybe deeper dives into them, look at their presentations. That's where a lot of the confidence comes from, the conviction. You guys need conviction if you're a long-term investor. I don't play these things on the short term, these charts. I know a lot of people like me doing them. They like watching it. They like having my opinion on it. And but I don't trade in and out on the short term here. So I kind of just look at them and say, yeah, this is what I kind of see. But I use them for entry points mainly. And then I hold for the bull market. I know some people do get scared with pullbacks. That's where you need that conviction, looking at the companies. A lot of the businesses have already inflected in energy service and energy. Even, I'm sure, copper now, with copper prices going up, they're going to see higher earnings. And that's really what drives the stocks. It's earnings. It's cash flow per share, free cash flow per share, earnings, all of those things. And those are all inputs to me making a decision if I should buy something or not. It's not just technicals, even though I use technicals to kind of screen what I think I might be looking at and what I might dive deeper into. But I also need conviction in the company. I don't want to get into something that is a scam where the balance sheet just doesn't have anything. And those are also more speculative companies too, ones that are still exploring and stuff like that. And guess what? Your risk goes up. So that's kind of what I look at, and we'll maybe look at a company or two, what you guys want to look at, and I can maybe share what I look for. But that's what I've got for today, guys. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.